TNT Podcast. My name is Darren, and I'm joined by Dan, Roddy, and Tuna. How's everybody doing today?
Smashing.
Great.
So, guys, this week's been crazy, and I was just talking to Tuna just before we went on air, and he was saying that he's been swamped with, all kinds of the crazy shit that Tuna does. Roddy's been just commenting all week on OnlyFans posts, and like making sure that he's staying connected with his fan group. Dan, he's going on vacation. He's turning down vacations. I don't even know what's going on. He's living the good life down there, right? So it's all sorts. That's right.
All sorts.
It's all sorts. So, a couple of big stories coming out of this week, and I think we're going to actually start by just quickly talking Apple. I know we don't like to talk Apple that often, but let's start there, and then we can talk. We'll go downhill from there progressively. We'll lose, 50% of our listeners after the first 5 minutes of talking Apple. So, but anyway, really quickly, Apple, a couple of big things we just really want to talk about. So 17.1 was released this week, bringing some very minor updates. But one that caught my attention was the AirDrop over Wi-Fi or internet. So basically now you have the ability to AirDrop even if you are out of range of the other person, as long as you are and they are connected to a source of data, basically. Now, guys, is this something that you would use? I know most of us have an iPhone here or had an iPhone. Would you use this feature, Roddy? Is this a meh feature, or is this going to be a revolutionary game changer like everyone else is claiming?
I just feel like they need to focus on making AirDrop more reliable, because I've had issues in the past where AirDrop was not reliable, or it couldn't find like my Mac if it was on the same Wi-Fi. So maybe that will make it better. I don't know. We'll have to see. But no, I don't think anybody's going to be going crazy over it.
Well, it's funny that you say that. Yeah, but I mean, a lot of people were like, "Oh, this is the greatest thing." They're clapping their hands and they're fucking, posting about it, saying, "Oh, what an amazing update," and so on and so forth. I'll be honest with you. I think I use AirDrop maybe fucking a handful of times a month if I'm lucky. Dan, I know you just got your fancy iPhone, so what's your take on it?
No, it's nice to have it. I mean, it's not gonna be anything revolutionary, but I suppose it helps sort of sending files to people if you're not wanting to lose any quality. Otherwise, you could just send stuff on WhatsApp, Telegram, whatever you usually send it on.
Yeah. I think it boils down to that, the debate of is AirDrop still a feature that brings iPhone users in? Now, I understand for like content creators, maybe, right? Like I know, the transferring of files and stuff, but even that is still, I know, like Roddy said, it's a bit unreliable. It sometimes works beautifully, sometimes it doesn't. Tuna, what are your thoughts, bud?
I don't really use AirDrop. I don't have anything but an iPhone, so an Apple Watch, but I don't have an iPad or a MacBook, so I don't have a need for it. Now I know I'm getting off the topic a little bit, but I use Nearby Share a lot.
Yes.
So I'll be taking some pictures, and yes, with Google Photos you can share, but like I'll be with someone and they're like, "Hey, give me that picture." And I go, "Well, I'll just send it to you." And they're like, "Oh, we have Nearby Share." Like they don't even know they have it. And I do things like that, or I'll make a video and just share it to myself. I do that a lot with Android, but I don't have enough with iPhone stuff. But this new feature, I think it's not a bad thing. It's nothing to like write home about, but you can't say, "Oh man, another feature, that's stupid." I think someone out there will use it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, Dan probably uses it every day, but we won't.
I mean, it's
Dan,
like, Dan's like, I don't know what I'm using that for. But here's the thing, and I mean, all these people that are listening to the podcast now are going, "Hang on a second, Android has a feature that's kind of like AirDrop." Yeah, they actually do. They've had it for a little while now, and it actually works
really good.
It's actually really fucking
good.
Yeah, it does
very well. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, I know like a lot of the time, the iterative, 0.1 updates and shit like that, it's usually bug fixes and aesthetic changes. And like, if you look at all the other changes here, it's just fucking garbage. Like they put more control options for standby, which I also don't use.
Oh,
Apple
thank God.
Music, yeah.
Thank God.
Apple Music features, which I also don't use. Customization for you do? Okay, sorry, the one consumer there, but customization for photo shuffle. Like seriously, like why?
I don't know what that is.
I
don't
would
know what
say
that
this
is.
is more of like a polish update. I'm on the beta channel, so like I think I've had that one for a while, but I don't know the differences because you don't use Apple Music. I use YouTube Music, so that stuff's not going to affect me. Standby, I don't care if it's on standby. It doesn't change anything for me.
Actually, that's a good question, Dan. What's your streaming service of choice when it comes to music? What's your go-to?
Apple Music.
Oh, right, okay.
It's simply because it's got the high-res music options, which YouTube Music doesn't have, Spotify doesn't have.
Right.
Say that again. I missed it. What doesn't it have?
High-res.
That's very true.
Lossless audio, yeah.
YouTube will have it, but not yet.
Yeah, Spotify is apparently getting it, but they're probably going to be increasing the price quite a bit for that. So I tend to go with that just because I could use other services. There's a number of services that have high res.
Exactly.
But I tend to use Apple Music just because it's got the selection of music that I want as well. So
yeah, I mean he's a Swiftie, so he needs all Taylor Swift's back catalog and 1984.
My other half is.
He's also a Kelsey. Right. He's also a Kelsey fan now too for some weird reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, the fuck is Kelsey?
I don't know.
Football player. The person she's going to. Oh, it's football. Well, we live in the U.S. here. We watch football.
Sorry,
American football. Sorry.
No. I get
he
that.
means soccer.
You know a lot more about this stuff than I do.
Well, you watch football and you just want to watch football, but unfortunately now Taylor Swift is dating some football player. When they play, all you see is her in the stand now. No one cares, but
yeah.
I know Roddy follows Taylor Swift pretty closely there, buddy. So I know. What's your go-to streaming service, Roddy?
I'm an XM radio guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm indecisive. I don't know what I want to listen to, so I just want something to like tell me what to listen to. So I do XM.
Now, Roddy, let me ask you a question. So someone that was relatively new to like XM radio and satellite radio, because for those people who don't know, like the same rules don't apply. Now, when you heard someone swear on the radio for the first time, when you started listening to like XM radio, was it shocking like it was to me?
Yeah, I think it was. It was kind of like, it was one of those things where it's like, I heard somebody and then I was like, wait, what? They just said that? And it's like, you almost think you didn't hear it and then you actually did hear it. So yeah, it was strange because I was kind of like, that's not the version I'm used to hearing on the radio, Yeah. And so songs take on I still hear songs today. Like I'll be listening to something and the song is way different than I thought it was because I heard it on the radio.
The radio edit. Yeah. Versus the real. Yeah. I remember when I first got a satellite radio, it was in a car that I just recently bought. I had a 30-day trial or something. And I remember I was just kind of like, flicking through and I came across the comedy channel. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, cool, stand-up comedy on the radio. And the guy was dropping F-bombs left, right, and center. And I was actually confronted. I was like, oh my God, like, is this guy, what happened? And it is, for those, I mean, it really is like a bizarre experience, especially for someone, I grew up listening to, regular FM radio, like it was one of those things where all of a sudden the rules don't apply and, the radio edits are not there anymore. It's confronting. And Tuna, you said, what's your go-to? You said YouTube?
Yeah, YouTube Music. And it's just because I got grandfathered into that premium where it was like, I think it went up now though, but it was like $10 a month and I got YouTube Music and YouTube Premium.
Oh.
Because I was one of, I was tested. I think I remember correctly. I was in the beta on that, like before they actually released it. So they gave me that introductory price, but now it's probably twice the expensive.
It's funny that you say that.
Channel, or saved your channel or whatever it is that you do on there.
What was that?
Tuna's channel?
You have like a little playlist on there. You can like follow people's playlists and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I followed yours last night, by the way. Good stuff.
It's definitely interesting. It changes a lot too because I have kids. So like, when I'm in the car by myself, it's like all like gangster rap, and then when they're in the car, it's like not gangster rap.
it's for the Frozen soundtrack when he's in the car, but that's okay too.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I got involved. My story with I use Spotify as my go-to here, but I remember I downloaded Spotify on a whim when it was first released. Or you know how you see like apps that are being highlighted, like just released kind of thing. So I downloaded it, and back when you downloaded Spotify for the first time, you were given premium. Like there was no restrictions. You were like, it was like an enticing offer or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been getting Spotify premium since it started for free because I was one of the first people to, I guess, give it a go here in Canada. And I've been using that ever since. And I guess the, cheaper in me refuses to pay for, anything else. But in the chat here, there seems to be a lot of interesting suggestions. I know Pandora was meant to be the big thing at one point.
I used Spotify for years.
I don't know, but this guy keeps telling every music streaming service to get bent. So apparently there isn't a whole lot out there that will work for him.
He doesn't listen to music.
Do you guys remember Slacker Radio?
Slacker Radio,
yeah.
So I actually had the Slacker Radio portable. You guys remember those?
Oh, the little hardware, right?
Yeah, you actually had to be on Wi-Fi and it downloaded offline, like the channels you listen to, and then you could play it. And I just had it, but the battery is about 3 times too big, so it might blow up.
Right. Okay. We should just see what happens. We'll just leave it out in the sun for a little while and see how long it takes. But all right. Anyway, so also just really quickly on Apple, they've got a Scary Fast event coming up.
Jesus. Sorry.
Which, as I said, I know Tuna got scary there. He's got scared there. But one of the things I was talking about to these guys, I actually think that Apple's marketing team probably spent all of about 30 seconds coming up with that fucking title because it was the
$3 million, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, they got paid $3 million. Yeah. Oh, here's an idea. Let's have an event right before Halloween, and let's play off of that. Let's make it scary.
Well, just make sure you don't share the screenshot because we'll be copyrighted again or something.
We'll
be kicked out again.
I don't want to get censored by the Apple overlords over there. But I mean, look, what we know is that they're likely going to be dropping the long-awaited M3 chip. And as Tuna said, it's probably going to be 45% faster. You predicted, Tuna?
Well, they'll compare it to like a chip that's 3 or 4 years old. It'll be the fastest chip of any MacBook ever. You know how the normal stuff. But they don't really play it against Android anymore, or maybe
I think it's not even a contest, right? Like I think that's. I mean, the M3 chips, the M2 chips, they've all been fantastic.
I think they might start comparing them to Snapdragon though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Snapdragon hasn't been officially. I mean, it's official, but
it's not out yet.
Yeah, it's not out yet. So
we'll probably start getting that next year because they'll have had all this planned out for a little while. So I don't know.
Imagine... Snapdragon's making some moves for sure.
Yeah,
they are.
Good for them. Do you think that Google is looking at Snapdragon like, damn, they got all this AI stuff in here? Maybe we made a mistake leaving because they would.
It's a good question, actually. I was thinking that myself. I'm like, I mean, so also happening right now is, you've got this big Snapdragon Summit event for all the lucky people. Roddy's watching it live right now in the background there.
Streamed.
I actually thought that was you streaming your OnlyFans, so I'm just glad that's the Snapdragon Summit.
That had to be censored.
Oh, right.
Everyone's got to pay for the OnlyFans. Everyone's got to pay for the OnlyFans.
I thought you were just showing reruns. I was just
wait, that's not OnlyFans? I just paid you $10. What the hell?
Hit the tip button.
Yeah, hit that tip button.
There you go.
Right,
There you go.
You can sign up. What is it? What's the website address for your OnlyFans there, Roddy?
I can't tell you that.
I can't tell. Sorry, yeah. You're going to have to find it if you want to check out Roddy's thing. But anyway, so...
Yeah, if you find it, let me know because I don't know what it is.
Well, Tuna started it. And now it's just like voyeuristic kind of behavior. So Tuna just follows Roddy around.
I actually just made it for him, and somehow videos get uploaded onto where they come from.
was wondering why my Nest cameras are always on. I didn't know.
Well, Tuna specializes in peephole shots, so he's just putting the camera up to the the lock of the door, and he's just there we go.
That's
Not that
against
kind
the
of
law.
peephole, Tuna. But yeah, so right now, Snapdragon Summit is also happening, and they've also been releasing some pretty interesting things. Like the biggest thing that's come out in this past week has been their Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, which, like Tuna said, basically is bringing generative AI, which apparently is the buzzword of 2023, because I've heard that fucking term so many times in the past 2 months.
But Darren,
With, yes.
will Snapdragon offload all the AI stuff to the cloud like Google does? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh boy.
I had to do
Listen, I know you were going to go down that road. I think this is Snapdragon's way of, like you said, flexing a little bit here and saying, "Hey, Google, that's what we can do that you guys can't."
Yep.
And it's kind of, I mean, it's good that they're pushing forward. Like the Gen 2 series from Snapdragon has been phenomenal in most of the devices that I've tried. But I mean, it's bringing some pretty big improvements across the range, right? They're saying it's delivering 98% faster NPU performance.
Compared to what? The 8 Gen 2?
I'm assuming comparing it to last year's. Yeah, I'm assuming that's what they're doing here, right? But
okay.
I mean, that's like they're even support for Unreal Engine. Like that's nuts to me.
Well,
like that.
Did you? Well, yeah, Unreal, and they got ray tracing, but there's the other thing they were talking about, that seamless connect. Did you read about that?
That was cool.
Yeah. Yes, I did.
It's about time someone figured this out, because Androids, so many different manufacturers. It'd be nice if everyone would use a Qualcomm chip, Snapdragon, that can actually not leave Google out, but.
I mean, they're also bringing like AI-based hardware acceleration on this new X75 modem. They're saying it's going to be better 5G speeds, better coverage, mobility, location accuracy. Wi-Fi 7 support is in there. Like they're swinging from
Wi-Fi 7. Nothing.
I know, right?
I have Wi-Fi 6E, and I have like 3 devices, and they're all phones that even use it. So
yeah, right. I lost my train of thought. Fuck. What was I going to say? Oh, so Wi-Fi 7. Sorry, Tuna interrupts me all the time. Wi-Fi 7 support. They're swinging from the rafters here. Like they're coming out and saying, you know what? We want this chip to be a chip that every phone manufacturer should be kind of saying, hey, give us what you got. I think, is it the Xiaomi 14 Pro is meant to be the first to use it?
That's right. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, I
mean, the first to use it, but when would it be the first to be released? I want to say Red Magic was working on one too, the 9.
There's a lot of phones coming out.
Yeah, there probably is.
I mean, right now, as we get to the end of October, this is where it starts to settle in, and people, like the releases start to slow down here, and it's finally the chaos of the fall season is kind of done. But by the time February rolls around, we're already starting to see brand new devices coming out, and they'll be powered by this Gen 3 monster.
Let's sell all of our phones and get new ones.
That's it. Got to get them all. But they're saying here, like among the brands that have signed on to use the Gen 3 chip are Sony, Asus, OnePlus, Oppo, Vivo, Xiaomi, Honor, and ZTE. So they're the ones that have already been slated to have the Gen 3 chip in their latest devices.
And Google's the only Android device using their own chip. I know Huawei's not really Android anymore, so...
Well, they're using their version. I think they're the only ones that are on that. Well, that's the list that I have in front of me.
I don't know, but I found
saying...
results on search.
Apparently, I said something that
you triggered it. Yeah. You triggered the AI. See, we start talking about AI, and the fucking AI activates. Right here.
If that speaker gets up and walks, see, it's still talking.
Now, in the chat here, I'll just put this. Maybe I can highlight this comment. Here we go. Just saying here that, oh, no, that's not the one. Let's try that again. Something about AI. There we go. Septon here said, AI is all of a sudden the talk of the town in tech circles. What's driving this AI push? Now, it's not, we can't say it was Google's idea because they've been doing it for a while, right? I mean, but why this year? Why 2023 into 2024? are they pushing so hard in the AI stuff? Did I miss something? Like, what happened
I
there?
think you see a couple companies out there putting out quality products, and people are scared and excited. And I think anytime you have that, media picks up, and next thing you know, it's everyone's. I mean, you guys watch Shark Tank?
Yeah.
That was at the last episode. They had some, bots, an AI bot. Now there's a consumer version of an AI bot you can pay monthly for, to go ahead and get golf times and restaurant reservations. All you gotta do is type in the information; it does it for you. So I mean, it's crazy, and I think that's part of the reason. I could be wrong.
Yeah. What do you think, Roddy? What's driving this AI push by these companies, do you think?
I think it kind of started back whenever Zuckerberg and somebody else, they started talking about these digital spaces. And to be honest with you, if I had to guess, I would probably blame it on gaming and how big, not just online gaming is, but like that community and where people are meeting and stuff like that. I mean, it's kind of like, to me, it's like everybody took what we were doing on social media and they kind of pushed forward with it. And that kind of had to create, AI just kind of become such a big topic out of that, because people were like, well, what if we could do this? And what if we could do that? And to be honest with you, I also think it's kind of a cop-out that all these companies are pushing into AI, because hardware has gotten so stale.
Yes,
I mean,
for sure.
Yeah.
We're all talking about like the new iPhone. We all got it, and it was a nice phone, but we were so bored with it, even though it's probably one of the best, most powerful phones that Apple's ever made. We're like bored with it. You know what I mean?
It's the most powerful phone ever made, period. What are you talking about?
Oh yeah, of course. Of course.
Yes.
But yeah, I think it's just it's kind of the next iteration of how do we create and where do we go with it. But I think some of it has to do with the metaverse and gaming and those online portals and stuff like that, just kind of taking it to the next level. I'm sure Elon had something to do with it.
Now, let me ask you this, because I know, so Tuna, you've got the Pixel there. I don't know if Roddy, you have a Pixel too,
the
right,
Pixel
Roddy?
8 Pro or the Fold?
Yeah. No, the 8 Pro I'm talking about. Yeah. So, Roddy, let me ask you this. So, all of these promises that were made during the Pixel, release about AI. Now, I imagine you probably used or tried the features out, like the generative AI and the best shot, whatever the fuck that's called. What was your initial reaction when you tried it for the first time?
You want my honest opinion?
Honest opinion, because I want to see if it's the same as mine.
I thought it was all like mid. I didn't think it was that. I didn't think. I mean, it's cool, but it's like if you're somebody like me, I've been using things like Photoshop and stuff like that for years. So it's like, it's like anything else. Any of these other features, like the whole like where you can hold on a person and it detaches them from the photo and you can use it. I mean, you've been able to do that in Photoshop now for like 5 years? Yeah. So it's kind of like, I don't know. It's, I guess to the normal person that's never done any of that kind of stuff, that's cool for them. But for me, I was kind of like, oh, this is neat that you can do it on the phone, but I would never do this on a phone because the screen's so small and I got to do it with my finger. And it's just like, I'm not very good with my hands. So, it was just like, no big deal. It was not.
Darren, don't even say it.
I was trying to tempt him to say it. I was baiting you there.
I was trying to let you finish. I was trying to be respectful and let him finish his thought.
No, I'm going to interrupt that right away.
I mean, we all know.
It's to me, it's not a reason to buy the phone. I'm not even going to talk about it in my review. I just don't think it's important. To me, it's just not important.
I found I love Pixels. I do. I have one on the wall behind me over this side, one of those deconstructed ones. I've had it since the Pixel 1, right? The OG Pixel. I'm a little bit pissy with it, to be honest with you. And I'm a little bit maybe frustrated as a consumer because I feel like it takes a really fucking long time to do. I feel like that processing, that generative AI, all of that processing that's happening. I mean, it takes fucking I know. It's taken like 30, 45 seconds, a minute to fucking generate all this stuff. And while you may go, hey, if you want it, you got to wait for it kind of shit, right? I mean, it's easy to make that argument, but I don't know. I think they sold this future where Google had it figured out. And it was quite fast. It was swift. It worked perfectly. It worked seamlessly. It does when you give it the time for the most part to work on it and do it decently. But I don't know. Like, I almost feel like it was a missed opportunity. Like, and it may come down to the chipset that they use. Maybe the tensor isn't just powerful enough. Maybe that's why they're offloading to the cloud. I don't know. It's a little bit frustrating for me. Like, I almost feel like it should have been executed better. Tuna, what about you?
I actually enjoy the 8 Pro. Like I said, the only thing I really don't like is it doesn't have the horsepower. I don't game much, but when I do it, you can just tell certain games are better optimized. You know that. But I had what was in the Fold 4? I can't even remember. Was it the 8 Gen 1 or was that the
8
888?
Gen 1.
Yeah. 8 Plus, that's right. And that thing ran circles around the Pixel Fold, which was a G2. But yeah. I played similar games on the 8 Pro and it was terrible. It was choppy. It wasn't overheating, but it was getting warm. That's why I'm so excited for, I'm not trying to lead into anything else, the OnePlus Open, because it's got the 8 Gen 2. It's got the correct aspect ratio when it's closed. And it's got a nice screen. So hopefully that will kind of suffice for my needs. But the 8 Pro's been fine. I told a little story before you guys. I think maybe it was just a little bit ago. You know, I went to a pumpkin patch because it's the season. And I had the 15 Pro Max and the Apple 8 Pro in both pockets. And I just always reached for the 8 Pro. Now, camera-wise, they take similar shots, but I think it was more about Google Photos. It's easier to back up with Google Photos. Instead of going through the iPhone and backing up.
Doing it. It's not seamless.
Yeah, but I don't know. I always grab that phone, and it's not any faster or slower. It is. I don't know. I'm a Pixel guy. You know what it is? I like it.
Same.
And this is the thing, right? It's reliable, and I think that's maybe where, especially Google, it maybe needs to focus your attention a bit more on. Like, maybe don't push so much the AI stuff. Mention it. It's a cool feature. Throw it out there. But I mean, I always said to you guys in the previous podcast that, like, Google is what we call like the every person phone, because anybody can pick up a Google, and it's probably the most accessible Android device that you're going to have, right? As far as like, apples to apples, quite literally comparing it to an Apple iPhone. Like, I would argue that's probably one of the easy ones to use. Now, Roddy, I know you're a big fan of Nothing, and you were saying that you feel like the Nothing phone is just as
big fan of Nothing.
Fluid.
Well, so here's the thing: is
he likes Nothing.
I do. I'm really rooting for Google. Like, the past 2 years, I've really wanted them to like knock this out of the park.
Yeah,
and they just there's always like I'm like you, I'm kind of frustrated because it's like, I don't give two shits about the AI. I want it to be, a little bit more powerful to do it. It's a good phone. There's nothing really wrong with it. All these people talk about all the problems it has. It's a good phone, but it's not a good phone if you're, like Tuna said, if you're looking for if you're a power user and you're like I was trying to use it earlier for this podcast. I was going to try to turn it on and use it for a webcam, and it was just lagging, that I could see it was just struggling. And I hooked something up like an S23 Ultra, and it, pretty much does fine.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I've had a better time with the Fold than I did with the 8. I don't know why that is, or the 8 Pro. I don't know why my Fold feels more fluid than that, but yeah, I mean, even something like the Nothing phone that's got last year's 8 Plus Gen 1 in it, it feels better than my 8 Pro does. Mm-hmm. So
yeah.
Well, speed wise, I had a Nothing phone too, and it was a decent phone, but the cameras are good, but they're not Pixel.
They're not Pixel.
You guys may have seen me post a picture of a phone a couple days ago.
Yeah.
The Nubia Z50S Pro. It looked like a camera. It's got a 35 millimeter lens. That thing. I don't know how to say this. 8 Gen 2. Oh my God, the camera was terrible. Like, I was reading some reviews and it said, "Hey, it's really good at picking up motion. It picks up the shutter speed. ISO." Yep. I was taking pictures of my dog and it was blurry every single time. I was like, "This is like the." Then the zoom is an 8 megapixel zoom, and it was terrible. I don't know how they can label it as a phone centric or camera centric phone. Yeah, but I'm not trying to bag on any certain company. The phone seems good on paper in price, but that's what you got to remember. Like the Pixel 8 Pro, they never talked about speed.
No,
but for the general consumer, that is the best Android phone you can buy. Samsungs are great too, but it works. It just works. And most casual games are going to be just fine. You guys ever heard of Alien Isolation? It's like $15. It ain't going to play that very well, but I don't think a lot of people actually even play it. Maybe a couple million, but in the scheme of things, that's nothing.
It's funny that we talk about smartphones and gaming because I almost feel like that's a contradiction. Because I don't so this is how I see gaming on a smartphone. It's when you're waiting in line at a fucking Starbucks or you're at whatever, you're like waiting for your card tire change or fucking whatever. You're sitting in a waiting room. Only then am I picking up the phone and going, fuck, I'm going to play some games to waste some time. But in a busy work day, I'm not whipping out my phone at lunch and playing fucking Call of Duty or PUBG or one of those games. I'm just not. But I understand that some people would want to use it for that purpose. But Pixel, I don't think is it. Right? As far as like gaming.
Well, it depends what you're playing. Like you said, PUBG, it might work good because it's more optimized. But
Pokemon Go.
I told
Pokemon Go. Maybe.
Everyone's like Genshin Impact. I tried to play that game.
Who knows that game? Who the fuck plays that game?
I tried just because I wanted to see like performance wise. I can't get into it. It's too. I'm just not into that kind of game. I play like first person shooters. Call of Duty's okay, but I will tell you. I mean, on my lunch break at work, if I have time, I'm playing one of those kinds of games. But like most mobile games will be just fine.
You know what I find hilarious, Tuna? That we know that you're in law enforcement and you're playing first-person shooter games on your lunch. Is it just not exciting enough? Is that what it is? You just want to get out there and shoot some bad guys? It's okay.
After this week, I didn't play any games. It's been hell. So
I know it's How's your
hey, and I'm not trying to say Genshin Impact's a bad game. I just don't play. I can't get into it, but people do. I want to play Alien Isolation on. Is it on iOS too? I imagine it is.
Probably.
I'd love to see what it looks like. I couldn't play it on the Pixel 6 Pro. It was
quite a demanding game, isn't it?
Yeah.
I tried it on a few tablets and it wouldn't even load because it said it wasn't made for a tablet. So
now, Dan, you're our resident gaming guy here on the TNT podcast. Now, let me ask you this. So I'm assuming you have a gaming setup like PC at home. That would be accurate. So how often are you whipping out your smartphone to play a game?
Whipping it out.
Whipping it out. Oh, yeah, it is there.
I generally play Pokemon Go. Cool. That's my go-to game. I play that one out and about quite a lot, yeah.
That kills battery right there.
It's funny because, like, it's not particularly smooth on the iPhone quite often.
Oh.
Because it's like the frame rate doesn't just sort of cap at the 120. It sort of like drops too much, and you get these like slight stutters while you're playing. Whereas on my Pixel 6 Pro, it's just perfect. Like it's 120 FPS. It's smooth. It's great.
Dan, quote me if I'm wrong. Is it Niantic who makes that? Aren't they owned by Google? Or were they?
Let's fact. I'm gonna fact check.
I could be because that's why they're like, ha, watch this.
But then it works great on on Xperia. Correct. It was just the best experience.
They're owned by
they're owned by Google,
and they had an NBA version of that game. They pretty much took that recipe and made Monster Hunter 2. Have you tried that?
No.
Ooh, that's fun.
I've heard it's
Monster
good.
Hunter. Yeah,
I've heard it's good.
Yeah.
Dan, with Pokemon Go, what what's your like level? I don't even know how to fucking phrase that question. Like how good are you?
It's very casual. It's a casual
Oh,
thing.
okay.
It's just like
What does this say?
I literally just Dan. Hello. No
Kevin's
idea.
lost his mind.
Sorry, go ahead.
I play very. I mean, I don't mobile games for me. It's not a hardcore thing. Whereas I know that I think for us in Western countries, it's difficult to sort of think of a mobile phone as like a gaming device. Whereas in the East, that's their primary gaming device. Like they're absolutely crazy on this stuff.
Yes.
True. And so I think a lot of the time the YouTubers are doing this because it's more appealing to like maybe the Indian viewers.
Yes.
Who are going to be using a phone as their primary gaming device.
Right. So we're being homers. We're being homers and like kind of looking around us saying, hey, we're not doing it. You're right. Red Magic makes a gaming phone. Asus makes gaming phones. Lenovo jumped out of it. They used to make the Legion phones. There's a need for it somewhere.
Yes.
Maybe not here, but I'll tell you, those gaming phones, besides the cameras,
Pixel's not aimed at that crowd. It's just not. No. But then for casual games and things, it's fine.
So let me ask you something. Like looking at like Asia, India, all those other parts of the world. Why? So we know that Google has been released in those other areas and those other regions. Why are people buying that phone? Because if it isn't like you said, a lot of like Western culture is playing games on their smartphones. Pixels aren't really cut out for gaming. Like I don't want to say they're not underpowered, but you know what I'm getting at. What are they buying the Pixel for? Then?
It's always camera. I think it's just camera and software, and that's generally just the go-to. I mean, that's the reason I buy it.
Right. Okay.
I think that is for a lot. The trouble is that Pixel, especially in places like India, because it's always had these thermal issues, it's been a nightmare to use for a lot of people.
Right.
In those hotter climates, it's not very good. So you see a lot of people having a bad experience with it over there. So they'll pop up in your YouTube channel on comments and things, and they'll say that they're getting massive throttling and things. And I'm here in the UK where it's quite cool generally.
Yes.
And I have no issues. So you've got to sort of advise based on climate in a lot of cases with Pixels. It's difficult, but obviously G3 is a bit better. But yeah.
In frosty Canada,
yes,
fucking that thing runs cool all the time.
I bet.
Right? Now, even the iPhone 15 Pro Max before the update, that fucking thing was ice cold.
I'm pretty sure in Canada they make cases out of snow, don't they?
They do. It's true. Yeah.
Right.
It's like an igloo style.
Yeah, it's like active cooling right there. You just stick it right on, and it's good.
We export them to Texas, believe it or not. I don't know why. And it's they've lots of complaints by consumers. Warm weather, it just doesn't work well.
We need Google Pixel to make a bigger market share, because if they start losing, I fear Google will give up. And I'm not saying that they have to give up on Tensor or not. I mean, Tensor will get better every year. I mean, I'm sure they will.
Well, they're supposed to be moving to TSMC at some point. I think.
Right.
Google's kind of in this weird sort of spot where they're trying to keep the cost of the Pixel down.
Yep.
Yes.
But they know that they're going to suffer a little bit on performance side of things. So over time, it's going to pick up. And then as soon as they move to TSMC, they can then bump the price up a little bit again as well. They've just got to. They're trying to get sales. They're trying to get market share, and they need that lower price. And I think Tensor, as it is now, has just sort of enabled them to do that. But obviously, you've got compromises. You've got compromises with that.
Right. Yeah.
Dan, everybody in the chat wants to know what your highest Pokemon is, Dan. I don't know what the fuck that means.
I don't either. I played it for a little bit, but I don't get into it.
I replay about 30. I think like 3,700, something like that.
Is that
good?
You know
what's funny?
No idea.
It's all right.
Okay. All right.
My highest is 3,701.
Oh
wow. There you go.
I mean, I said around 3,700, so it's probably about 3,750. So
I don't even know what that means.
I know.
So
I know you don't.
Before we move away from our Pixel for a second, so what's if you had to pin it down to the one googly feature that keeps you there? What is it? And you're not allowed to say camera.
Oh, come on.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah,
That's easy.
Yeah.
very
Software.
easy.
Oh, do you want me to go? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, go. Are you going to say fucking software? If you say software, no one else is allowed to say software. That's the deal.
It's not really software. It's just the personalization. Like I go change my wallpaper and everything changes to that color. You know, and it's to me it feels like it's more personal to me. You pick it up and
isn't your background Roddy? Your wallpaper? Isn't it just a picture of Roddy?
Yeah, it's never mind. I'm gonna leave it there. But yeah, I mean, yeah, smile real big. I need to take a screenshot real quick. No, it's just one of those things where I just feel like it's a personalized phone. The iPhone is not a bad phone, but it's so. I have an XR for work, and then I have the 15, and there is absolutely no difference in the software. I mean, there probably is, but I'm saying like on the surface, it's the same damn phone.
I find the iPhone very difficult to like. I think if you're into tech, I think it's difficult to like an iPhone just because there's not really anything. They're all the same.
There's no.
There's not really.
Bless you.
It's not.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's. I can't explain it very well, but.
What did we say in the chat we had in Telegram? Do you remember? People were saying like their wives have iPhones because they want to be told what.
Yes.
Let Apple decide what they want for me, and I don't want that. I want to be able to choose what I want. Right. I don't want someone choosing it for me.
Yeah, and that's fair. I mean, I understand. Look, I always. It comes back down to this concept that with an iPhone, as good as they are, as powerful as they are. It's pretty easy to use and pretty dumb, if that makes sense. Like it's
you
just
saying an iPhone.
Yes. So, and what I mean by that is, shit is just there. It can't get fucked up by your wife moving icons around or like fucking tapping the wrong thing. It's pretty convenient, I guess. It's a convenience that I think a lot of people know because they've used an iPhone before.
Yep. Yeah.
I honestly think that a Pixel is easier to use than an iPhone.
I do too.
So do I. Yeah, that's the irony, right?
So Dan, you're an Android guy, correct?
Yeah.
Generally, you have an iPhone, right?
Yes, I do now.
You have the Pro, right?
Or 15 Pro, yeah.
So I brought this up last. Maybe Roddy, you have an iPhone too, right?
Yeah.
And so does Darren. Every time I grab my iPhone, I play Retro Bowl. It's a football game, and I always try to scroll up to the app drawer. Every time I grab my damn iPhone, I do that. The other thing is the universal back gesture. Apple doesn't have it. And every time in an app, I swipe back and it pisses me off. Yeah. But even after months of having an iPhone, I still do that. I don't understand.
Yeah, it's forced habit, right?
Navigation on Android is better.
Or is it just something we're used to? See, that's where I get... I don't want to say it's easier. Like settings. To change your wallpaper, you have to go to settings, hit wallpaper. I could just long press or pinch to squeeze on my Android and change the wallpaper.
Tuna, I actually have your wallpaper that you're currently using on your phone.
Here we go.
It's right there. There we go.
That's not Roddy.
Well, I mean, you told me it was. I don't know what the fuck. You just shared it with me right now on Telegram. I'm like, what is this? And I'm like, I'll put that on there. But
interesting.
Yeah, for those of you who are hearing this after the fact on Spotify, make sure you look up that one. Look up this YouTube moment right there.
Very nice. There you go. Very nice.
I like.
That's good.
Now,
that's good.
A couple of other things that happened this past week. Speaking of Google, while we're on Google. So Google, we're coming back to it. Don't worry. We're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there. But anyway, can we just quickly talk? So Google just released this kind of bizarre update to Google Maps, which they're calling immersive routes. So let me share my screen here so you can kind of get a sense of what it is. So they've kind of thrown AI.
And we got Delvon in the comments. What's up, Delvon? Come join us.
Come join us.
So before you go into this, isn't this similar to what Apple's already done with their Apple Maps?
It looks similar to the thing we looked at before.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, from what I understand, like Google's now starting to leverage some of the AI stuff into some of their other apps. So maps,
AI, all the
photos.
things.
Yeah, they're AIing the hell out of everything. Now, basically, what they're saying here is that with immersive view, they're using, I love the wording here, computer vision and AI to
Ooh.
fuse billions of
Wow.
street view and aerial images together to create a rich digital model of the world.
It's what Skynet will use when they bomb us.
Yeah, so yeah, basically, yeah.
Whoa.
Now,
Hey, it's coming.
It's coming. Yeah, it really is. Now,
Saw a
if you look, I don't know
documentary
if you
about
can
it.
see. I don't know how well you guys can see the image that's used here, but that literally looks like a fucking video game. It literally looks like where you looking at a show, and that's a scary fucking thing because that's based on real mapping and composite imagery of satellite imagery and street view and all of that. It's an interesting. I don't know how I feel about that. I almost feel like, oh, here's.
Did you mention generative AI or just AI?
No, this is just AI.
Oh, you
But
got to say
the-
generative because it's not
Generative,
cool.
sorry. But if you can see in this video that it's they're using on their launch page here, like it looks cool, but a little bit scary, maybe. They're giving you the usual Google map, here's the directions here, how it's going to go. And then basically they're upping the ante when you start the navigation so you can actually see a route preview. So basically what the route preview does is give you a live snapshot of what the street looks like and the weather.
It looks like what Apple's doing, honestly. It's kind of what
similar,
Apple's doing, yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think that they're copying. I think that what Google's doing is they've been working. People will think like when processors come out and phones come out, they're copying. This development of this stuff takes months and years, so it's not like people are copying. I just think that Apple beat them to the punch, and they were working on it, and they didn't make a big deal out of it. They released it, but most people probably have no idea what we're looking at right now.
Yeah,
I would have.
So I mean, look, I think it's an interesting, it's a cool idea. Like I don't know what the fuck this is. Like this thing here, the 3D imagery of what was this? I don't know. But they're basically compositing like high res 3D mapping, moving forward with Google. And I'll be honest with you. If there's an area where Google maybe should focus their attention on, why not spend the money on using the existing apps that everybody already uses, like Gmail and Photos and Maps, and throw AI into those? And maybe, like Roddy said, focus more on improving the speed and efficiency and the power of your hardware as opposed to trying to make these slightly gimmicky features, right?
Do you think it's because they're sort of hitting more limits now? Because obviously the die shrinks are getting pretty small. I mean, what 3 nanometers now?
Yeah.
So
maybe it's there. I don't know. Like you said, I think, Dan, you might have hit the nail on the head when you said earlier that they're in that weird kind of like limited spot with Tensor. Like it can only do so much, right? And maybe this is the best way to summarize my experience of the Pixel 8 Pro. I love the camera. I love the device. I love the battery. Love the screen. All of that's a given. I'm a little disappointed with it feels very gimmicky, and the 7 Pro didn't. Like even Magic Eraser didn't feel gimmicky when it came out on the 7 Pro. It felt like a legitimate update or upgrade. But some of the generative AI stuff, I don't know. Like, I guess I'm on the fence. I just don't know if I should love it or if I should hate it. It's a tough sell for me, man. I don't know.
I'm just glad I spent money on the thermometer. That's the important part, right?
Exactly. Yeah. That extra $300 you're being charged for your Pixel there, it's fucking right there into the thermometer. It's what it's all about. That's where we're at.
And if you own an iPhone, apparently you're in a flock of sheep. So
yeah, there you go. Sure. Yeah.
True.
Now, okay, let's be honest here. Like honest guess. Is the thermometer going to make its way to other smartphones?
No.
No.
And here's the thing, it's not even
saying yes.
Next year.
In the US, it's not even approved yet for human temperature. I mean, maybe across the world. They even showed video before that was leaked where a lady was putting it to her head, doing the thing, and you can't even do that.
I think they're just getting ready for the next pandemic. They're like, hey, everyone get a Pixel. Everyone get a Pixel.
Maybe
you can check your temperature.
Google's ahead of the curve. Maybe. Roddy,
so
you were
saying... Wait, hold on. Roddy, hold on. You got to hear this. I think Google AI is going to release the next pandemic just so we can use a temperature sensor. That's exactly what it is.
Just so they can sell pixels. That's exactly right.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
It's coming. I
mean, Roddy, you are used to using a different kind of thermometer, like one of those ones that go in the other end, if I remember right. Sorry. Yes. Have you used the thermometer on your Pixel, Roddy? Like, honestly, have you used it?
Not in that way.
not in that way, but
Oh, thank God.
I have used it. And it's, I have, cause work on cars and stuff. So I have one of those digital.
Oh, the gun ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's pretty accurate. And I tested it next to the Pixel a few times, and the Pixel was off by about anywhere from like 4 to 7 degrees difference.
Yep.
Right.
So it's not super inaccurate, but like a lot of people said, you don't want to, if you're trying to be real precise on temperature, it's not the one.
You know what's funny? So when I got the Pixel 8 Pro, that was one of the first things I tried because it had its own app, and it was like something that was new in the app drawer. I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna click this thing. Let's see what this is about. I took the temperature of my fucking keyboard that's in front of me. And I was like, oh, cool. That's the temperature. I haven't opened the app since. Like, I don't know what I would use a temperature sensor for, if I'm being honest. I mean, pulling up boiling water and cooking dinner. I mean, I'm not that precise.
Well, why do you need to know that?
You kind of want if you're reading a temperature, you kind of want it to be accurate, right?
Yeah.
Not really.
No.
Who cares?
Yeah.
I don't care if it burns.
Yeah. I mean, if you're making, I don't know, fucking caramel or something, and then like the heat point needs to be a certain precise temperature then before it burns, maybe. But how many fucking times are you making caramel from scratch at home? Like,
I asked my other half about that.
Oh yeah, okay.
Uh-oh.
Well, yeah. I mean,
that caramel would be scred.
Yeah, right. I don't know. So I'll tell you, this is a funny side note, just a quick food story. Like my wife's Italian, so they eat like roasted chestnuts, and probably most people in the world do. But I'd never tried roasted chestnuts before when I came to Canada.
No.
So when I first got here, she's like, "Hey, can you go throw the chestnuts in the oven?" So I just fucking threw them on a tray, threw them in the oven.
As you would.
Now,
as you would.
Exactly. So, for those of you who don't know, you actually have to, pierce the chestnut to let the steam out. Otherwise, it builds up. So,
did they just blow up?
Oh, it was like machine gun fire. So we're watching TV on the couch, and I just hear this bang. Bang, 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 bang. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like, I'm like ducking for cover. I'm like,
Tuna's here. He's got his gun.
Yes. So
like a scene out of Home Alone.
Popping up. It was terrifying. Because I never had that experience. Right? I'm just like, oh, okay. So I'm ducking for cover, and she's like, oh, you're an idiot. Like, she already knew instantly what that sound was, right?
Do you hear that a lot?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. Yeah. I just heard it more particularly on that day when she was cursing me for destroying the inside of the oven.
She must have known that you would do that, though.
This is what. Okay, we've had this argument before where I'm like, okay, I've never eaten a chestnut before. I would have no idea how to prepare a chestnut. Saying,
man, that was a setup.
Yeah.
That was a setup.
Right. I was right.
100%.
You gave her ammo to make fun of you, or
yeah. I'm still not allowed to touch the oven. Still this day, I destroyed that other oven. There was fucking chestnut everywhere inside that thing. Fucking little bits finding little bits every now and then, just fucking, sprinkling off the top there. But
so, Roddy, do you like chestnuts?
I was fixing to say I'm kind of disappointed
nuts.
that you don't like nuts.
Oh yeah, well, I hate to disappoint Roddy, but unfortunately, I'm not. I don't swing that way. I'm very.
My God.
But
I was gonna go somewhere with that in a joke, but I am not gonna. I'm not touching this anymore.
It's nearly the weekend, mate. You might.
So easy.
I was. Yeah,
the weekend.
Yes. Roddy told me he'd send me some pills that would help with that. I didn't know what he meant, and he just said, just make sure you go to sleep afterwards, and magic things happen. Now, speaking of opening up doors, you'll find out. Yes, I won't be able to walk straight. Speaking of opening up doors, can we talk about one of these?
What is that? I don't know what that is.
It looks like a phone. I don't know.
Oh, you mean this?
Let's move
dropped
on.
It on. It says dropped it on the fucking table.
Like, just that wallpaper is effing amazing. Have you seen that?
Pretty.
Look at that.
Pretty
it looks fantastic too.
It looks pretty good. It's pretty good. Okay, so OnePlus Open. Tuna and I managed to pick one up. There are a couple of things that make this a pretty special foldable, and I'm not a foldable expert. I tried the Z Fold 5, had the Pixel Fold. It is freakishly light, and I mean
it is
freakishly light. Like, it's lighter than the 15 Pro Max.
It's lighter than the 8 Pro.
It's lighter than the 8 Pro. And this, we're talking
That's
about
crazy.
a dual screen phone. We're talking, this is, a folding phone. Now, coming from the Pixel Fold, and Roddy, you might be able to test this. The Pixel Fold is the equivalent of maybe 18 phones strapped together in weight. Like, it's 283 grams. This is 230, I want to say.
Something like, well, it depends what color you got.
I think one's a bit
thin. The black is heavier than the
glass.
green or something because it uses like a faux leather or something.
So 50 grams is a lot of difference between like the Pixel Fold and the OnePlus Open here. A couple of initial impressions, and I just got it yesterday, so I literally have used it for maybe an hour today. The cameras are as good as we think they will be. The cameras have been impressive.
Better than Pixel?
Zoom wise, 100%.
Well, that makes what?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Not Pixel Fold or the Pixel 8?
I'm saying the Pixel 8. Saying the Pixel 8. Now, I shared with you guys on the our Telegram there a low light image. And when I say low light, I meant every light in this room that I'm currently sitting in was off. There was a little bit of a glow coming from the light over my shoulder here.
Why were you sitting in the dark?
Well, that's how I usually roll.
I'm just kidding.
Right? I sit there and scroll through Roddy's Instagram and his OnlyFans, and I'm like, yeah. But no, cameras have been pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I absolutely love how the screen springs open. Like, it gets to about there and then goes pop, and it just fucking locks in place. Also, it folds flat. Sorry, Google. Sorry, I had to throw that dig in there. But,
and I'll be honest with you, coming from the Fold 4, which doesn't snap open, but it opens flat. I know everyone thinks it's stupid, but to me, folding flat is a big deal. I don't know why it is, just the way it feels. And that thing snaps open. It's a good thing and it's a bad thing. So you can only open it to a certain extent. Like, you go like this, it kind of stays open. But at some point,
it just pops.
Kind of falls.
Yeah.
And it snaps and you can hear it. And these screens are amazing on this thing. I have not touched the cameras. I just literally opened like an hour ago. So
it's the perfect aspect ratio. Would you agree?
Yeah, it's a cross between the Fold 4 and the Pixel. The Pixel Fold was a better ratio than the Fold.
Yeah.
Or some Samsung. But this thing is
it's right on the money.
Better.
Like it's literally right on the money. Like, the front screen feels like a regular phone. When you open it up, it's not too narrow. It's not too tall. It's fucking Goldilocks. It's right in that perfect fucking zone where it should be for a folding device.
And for those fans of the IR blaster, it actually has an IR blaster. I know a lot of people that actually, I don't give two shits for that, but a lot of people like that. And that's something we haven't seen in the US for a long time.
Now, one other thing, just really quickly, because I know we're running short of time. The matte screen protector, I know it looks a bit glossy.
It looks purple. Like a purplish tint. Yeah.
It's hard to catch on camera here, but
it's like a blue light filter. It's awesome in the sun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is very impressive like that. I don't know why all foldables don't have that. I'm baffled that we haven't thought of this before. Like, it cuts down on fingerprints very much so. Like, you still see them, but it's not horrible. The crease, like, I don't know if you can even fucking see that on camera.
It's hard to see, but what I've been told is the more you open it, the more of it, the more you'll see of it, because it kind of starts to break.
Yeah, but I mean,
bit,
that's every foldable device. But by comparison to like the Google, the Pixel Fold or the Z Fold, Dalvon, better late than never, buddy. Here he is. I don't know if he can hear us. Dalvon.
I don't think so either. He's got that stare.
Yeah, I'm using a phone today.
Oh, there we go.
Hey, that better be an iPhone, or it ain't good.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
Ain't that?
Is he using the? We can hear you. Are you using Roddy's Pixel Fold webcam app?
Okay.
No.
How can I turn this into landscape? Oh look, I'm using the Pixel Fold.
Uh-oh.
Come on, Roddy. How does he do it, buddy? Tell him how to do it.
I don't know. Mine just does it automatically. don't know.
Oh,
Have you
boy.
got Rotate on there?
He's
Dalvin?
on beta
Pixel
beta
phone.
software.
Oh yeah, he's on beta.
He's on beta. That's what it is.
But
What,
going
he's
back
on
to the
landscape?
OnePlus, it's still
Yeah.
port. Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
landscape.
That'd be fine.
Sorry, Tuna,
But
what
the
were you going
one-
to say
but-
there?
Go ahead.
No, go. I'm just
Oh,
chiming you in.
So the OnePlus Open, the only thing I really enjoyed about it was obviously it came with earbuds for free,
Yes.
and the trade-in values were fantastic. So technically, if you had anything sitting in your cracked in half phone, you'd get
Yeah.
$200 off, making it $1,500, which is still a lot of money, but cheaper than anything on the market today
Did you
in
see
the
the
US.
trading deal that we got?
What did
You
you
were-
get?
was
We
it-
didn't get one. We didn't get
Oh,
one.
well, and then I had the Fold 4 that I've been sitting on forever, and I used it for a lot. I've even edited videos on that years ago when I first got it, just because it was something I had.
Yeah.
And they gave me, I think, $1,000 for that.
Yeah.
So, and then I'm part of the Red Cable Club, and then I had a $50 off for signing up for. I got it for like $500. You can't beat that.
Yeah. Now, one thing I'll just say, and I know you may have heard me bitching just before we came on air,
Uh-oh.
for some bizarre fucking reason
Oh,
in Canada, and it's always in fucking Canada,
Yeah.
they're not
Bloody
offering.
Canadians.
I know they're not offering the extended protection, so you can't buy that reassurance like the Apple Care of the OnePlus world here in Canada for some bizarre reason.
It's kind of crazy with a device like that.
Yeah, and that scares the shit out of me a little bit.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest, like it's an untested product from a company that hasn't exactly been hitting home runs in the last couple of years. Dalvon's coming. I don't know what Dalvon. There's two versions of Dalvon. I don't know what's going on. Hey,
What in
Dalvon.
the world is going? Hey, I see his computer. Look at. Oh wow!
Yeah.
Look at that wallpaper. It's
Yeah.
nice.
Hey, how do I flip this? Hey,
No,
check out
no.
the
Not going
plan.
well.
Check out the plan. I'm trying to flip this camera. I don't
You
know how to
got the
flip this camera.
YouTube plant. You got the
Yeah.
YouTube plant.
Plan.
Just for the record, Dalvon does have a YouTube channel. It's better than this.
Yes. That's good. That's good.
But yes, Dalvon, we were just talking OnePlus Open, and Dalvon is a big Pixel. He's our Pixel, a resident Pixel fan.
Here's my Google collection.
He's just showing off now. Is what he's doing.
Hey, look, I'm trying to flip this camera, y'all. I'm trying to flip this camera. I don't know how to flip this camera.
Yes. All right, I think.
All right, so what? Can y'all see?
Best stream ever.
Well, look, we talked about the OnePlus Open. So before we go, I know we're almost done. Roddy, you got to talk about the CMF Watch Pro real
Yes,
quick. 'cause
please,
I want this
please.
thing, and I got pissed off because you
Same.
told me it was a scam
Same
on
thing.
Amazon, so I canceled my order, and now it's not available. You did it on purpose because you didn't want me to have it. I get
That's
it.
exactly right. That's what I was thinking too.
He scammed me.
Scammed you, yeah.
So this watch is not for people that like super. I need all the stuff on my watch.
Okay,
yes.
I'm good.
Yeah.
So
we're just here. We're just listening to Roddy here, Dalvin. We're good. Yeah.
It's not a basic watch. So it gives you first off, the health tracking stuff is only for you have to get a CMF app, and that's
Correct.
the only way you
Okay.
can use it. So you can get notifications from other apps, but you can't interact with any other app, period. So, but
Yeah.
I will say that the health tracking is pretty good.
Yeah.
The GPS tracking is very good. Kind of scary almost that it's this cheap and this good on this watch. I
Okay.
felt like I did sleep with it one night, and I felt like the
He
sleep.
did?
You cheated on your Samsung watch? How dare you?
The Samsung watch is for sale, actually.
Oh, you left that. Oh,
It gone.
you
But-
cheated and left.
The big reason you get this watch is because it's super cheap, and
Yeah.
mine lasted 5 days with always on display, and I had everything running. Like it's got the vibration is the highest because I like strong vibration,
You like
Of course you do.
vibration.
Oh my god.
and I've got always on display and all that kind of stuff. So it's
That's good for 5 days. That's impressive.
yeah for a watch that's what $60.
Yeah, and what's
Yeah.
enticing? What the hell was that? That was
I mean-
weird. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
What's enticing to me is that the price is $69. It lasts up to 13 days when certain modes. It's got GPS. So if you want to go out and go on the beach and not worry about ruining your $400 whatever watch you have, you toss that on and you still want to take care of it, but you're only out $70. Yeah. That's amazing.
Super
me.
Lightweight. I mean, it's so like, most watches now are heavy. Smart watches are heavy. This one is extremely lightweight. And I don't know, just scrolling through and using everything, it hasn't had any like hiccups. It doesn't have any problem like connecting right back up to my phone, or everything just works. It kind of has me wondering, like, why am I paying several $100s for all these other phones? It's kind of just makes me wonder.
I think the biggest difference with this cheaper watches is I think this one's really good, but you're not going to have your, what do they call them, like enhanced notifications. Like I have smart cameras, so I'm not going to see the snapshot of the motion.
Right.
You're not going to you're not going to be able to reply, or if you do, it's going to be like those curated replies if you have it. But besides that, but if you know what you're getting, like for me going for a run, I can't play music through it.
Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't have storage. But I don't know. I think that's a perfect match to someone who is like rough on things and doesn't want to lose a lot of money. I think it sounds like a great, and the app looks pretty retro. Like it's that aesthetic they've been pushing for a while. Yeah, it's beautiful. I like it. I really do. It's minimal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Roddy, just to piggyback off what you said there. So you've been on a bit of a curve of tech lately. And what I mean by that is you've been talking about how phones like the Nothing phone and the CMF watch and the earbuds, they're all more affordable, but you're finding in your experience that it's almost worth it. Like you're saying that you're starting to doubt like the high prices that we're paying for all this stupid shit.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely do. And that's been something I've kind of talked about for a while is, a lot of the technology that we're getting is not new technology. Like the Apple Watch. I mean, the Apple Watch has been almost the same for like how long? I mean, they give you a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but they go up on the price every year. And they take more stuff out of the box, and they're using recycled parts on the box and all this kind of stuff. You think that eventually I'm kind of like, okay, well, when is the price cut come? Is
it going to come?
Stop going up, my thing. And so, I mean, I think like these earbuds, these earbuds are amazing. I'm not being biased. Like these, out of all the earbuds I've had, the Samsung Buds Pro, the Nothing Ear 2s, Pixel Buds Pro, all of that, these have the best bass out of all of them. Like it sounds like I got to listen to a buddy of mine had the new Beats, and these have similar bass to the Beats. And I was like, I can't believe how good these are for, I mean, what are these, $30?
Yeah.
I thought they were 39 or something. Yeah, close. Something around there, yeah.
So
the only thing that wasn't really interesting was the charger, because GAN chargers are a dime a dozen. I don't think that's really that important.
Well, but I will tell you this. So I've had two of those like high-end chargers that do like 65 watts and that sort of thing, and they always make my phone hot every time you plug them in. Yeah. I've tried 3 phones on this one, plugged them in, and they don't get hot. And I don't know why that is. Like they rapid charge, which, most of these phones don't have high speed charging except for the Samsung, but they don't get hot. And so I don't know if that's to do with the charger or what, but I don't know. All of the stuff it's cheap. It's worth trying. The buds to me are the most impressive thing for sure.
Okay. Really?
Yeah,
once that watch comes back into stock, I'll probably throw the earbuds in there just to try them out.
Yeah.
I like the packaging. Even the packaging is unique. It's cheap.
It's cool.
It's interesting. Yeah.
It's got a lot of plastic on it though, so it's not good for the planet.
Fuck the environment. Fuck the planet.
Apple wouldn't approve.
Listen, Apple's going to change the world with their clean energy charging, all right, buddy? On your iPhone, fucking, we already know they've saved the world.
Hey, be careful because we're going to have too many whales at some point.
It's true, yeah. It's going to go backwards. That's what's going to happen.
Listen, talk about Apple.
The whales and Skynet, we're going to take over the world.
Listen, I'll just say, Apple's got its priorities right. They're saving the environment. They're also paying Oscar-winning actresses millions of dollars to appear in a 5-minute fucking product placement. But they're also
TNT,
copyrighting TNT, and they're planting forests in parts of the world that no one can confirm. They got it going on. Apple's right there. Right?
Well, there's one thing that Apple can't do, and they are going to do it. Mark my words. Dalvon Digital, Double D, will he will switch to iPhone. You watch. You just watch. Apple will get him. They will get him.
I will say yes. I'm going to agree with you and say yes. Okay, but only when Apple do this.
Yep.
When Apple do this, I will get. So iPhone.
You said I was right. Could you maybe get my? I'm gonna wife down here. Could you tell her that I was right about something?
Yeah, I got you. Thanks. I'm gonna say you were double right.
There you
double right. Now, Delvon, we were just earlier on in the podcast. I know we're running short of time here, so I'll just quickly wrap it up. But Delvon, we were talking about Pixel 8 Pro. So quick 30-second thought here, really quickly. The new AI features on Pixel 8 Pro. Legitimately impressive or marketing gimmick? And you can only pick one side.
Oh, well, I'm gonna say impressive. I mean, wow, it couldn't be anything else. I mean, if you think about back in like 1990 when I had a phone and the phone couldn't even do this, like this is impressive what a phone can do. Yeah. So I'm thinking like more on that level. I know a lot of people born into this generation of privilege, but I wasn't. So I can appreciate things a lot better than what they can because they were born into it. I wasn't. I watched technology go from almost nut to a basic text. Yeah. Matter of fact, our phones didn't even have texting. We had to buy a pager. Yeah. We had to call. You know what I'm saying? We had to buy the two-way. So
back in the day.
Me, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
That's a good perspective. I never thought of it that way. Well, real quick. When you talk about pagers, who in here has had a pager? Look at this.
The newest edition. There we go. Congratulations.
Awesome. Congratulations for sure. That is amazing.
Yeah, little digital.
I love the name. That is awesome. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was awesome for sure.
So for everyone that's listening at home or maybe after the fact, Delvon recently became a father for the second time, Delvon, if I got that right?
Second time,
right? So he's celebrating the birth of Alida, I believe. Is it
Alida?
Alida, yes.
Battle Angel
for sure. Yes. Awesome.
And this is actually a milestone for the TNT podcast. This is the first baby born on the podcast. So I'm
so
sure
are you saying, hey,
you gonna get up here and do her? You gonna do the Pixel 8 Pro review, baby? Huh? You gonna do the review? Yeah.
So
she said, "Yeah."
Technically,
thumbs up. Yeah.
TNT podcast could be an aphrodisiac, is what you're saying.
Well, listen, I don't know how many babies have been like consummated on this channel during the podcast, but I mean, at least we have confirmation that Delvon's.
You do know that Roddy's had 16 kids since TNT started.
It's true. It's true.
That we know of.
That we know of. That's exactly right.
People are hunting me down, man. I'm trying to pay this money.
And that child support. Yeah, I gotta get it going.
Listen, the TNT podcast can reassure everybody it will get you laid. That's exactly that's how we started this channel, right? Well, for Roddy it does, But everyone else, all of us married folk here are just like, looking at him going, his OnlyFans is lighting up. And we live vicariously through Roddy. I know it may not look that way, but we do. Anyway, so big thank you to everybody that tuned in. Delvon, I know you're a little late to the party there, but I know you got other things going on right now. So
it's all good, man.
It's all good, man. We appreciate you joining us and popping in like that. And congratulations.
Look, I'll be ready next week, and I'll make sure that I have like my proper, where's my camera at? My proper camera and everything set up. Okay? So, because y'all, I gotta outdo y'all backgrounds. Y'all can't be over here embarrassing. I'm using the Pixel, by the way, Pixel 8 Pro. So anybody want to know?
It looks good.
Quality looks.
It looks good. Yeah.
Looks good to me, man. So Dan, thank you very much. Roddy, Tuna, Dalvon, appreciate you guys joining us here on the TNT podcast. Make sure you check out all these lovely people's respective YouTube channels, OnlyFans pages, Pokemon Go fan sites. Have a look at all those guys. They all have things going on in their world, and feel free to like, subscribe, and talk to your friends about the TNT podcast. We love having you guys join us and listen every week. And if you are catching us the very next day, you can check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, pretty much everywhere a good podcast is found. So again, thank you very much, guys. Appreciate you guys all being here, and we will catch you all on the next one. Thanks, guys.